Hey gang, Melissa Hinault here with the Burnout to All Out podcast. I'm a mom of three, corporate burnout that built a secondary six-figure income around my 9 to 5 with little kids. This set me free and allowed me to fire my boss and pursue my wildest dreams. It took grit, persistence, and belief. But now operating multiple six-figure businesses as an online entrepreneur and business coach, I have become a serial entrepreneur with a passion to inspire more burnouts to take the leap and go all out and live out their dreams. Each week, I'll bring you inspiring all-out guests, lifestyle business tips and tools to empower you to take the leap from burnout employee to all-out entrepreneur, making your passion your paycheck. If this mom of three, corporate burnout, can go all out, so can you. Hey guys, happy to have you back for another episode. This one is truly special. It's one of my first guest podcast appearances that I made a couple of months ago with a dear friend and fellow business partner and multi-millionaire in the industry that I come from in social selling. But I thought it'd be fun to share with my audience because she brought me into her audience to really educate them on the value of LinkedIn in 2020 for the social seller. And I thought for many of you, this could be a great Cliff Notes version of where to jumpstart in LinkedIn if you're a social seller and get going with some actionable items to just begin to grow and scale a network over there. So again, this podcast is a little bit of a flip of the mic because she'll be interviewing me, but I think you guys are going to enjoy this episode.
Okie dokie. They say it's good to have friends in high places, and I'm excited for today to get into the brain of a dear friend of mine that I've known for a couple of years and just been so excited to watch her growth in all sorts of different endeavors. So Melissa Hinault, welcome to the show today.
Oh, thank you, Carol. I'm excited to be here. I have adored you since the day I met you. So it's just exciting to be here.
Oh my gosh. So good. And so today we are going to get into the bones of what terrifies me, the LinkedIn world, which makes me want to run, but you make me not want to run anymore. So I'm excited for you to be able to share your wisdom with the peeps, but I'd really love for you to start with the beginning, tell everybody who you are and how we're even here at this moment, with you as an expert in this area now.
Oh my gosh, for sure. So, my life goes all the way back, to my corporate days. I think you and I first connected about potentially doing a podcast with just leaning into what you're passionate about, making a stand for it and going for it regardless. And so I was in corporate America as a medical director, actually, in the big pharmaceutical industry. I had been building a side business in the same company you're in alongside my corporate job. And it took me to well over six figures while I was still working my full-time job. I worked that full-time job for a full probably year and a half after hitting those six figures because of kind of fear of walking away, and it wasn't so much walking away as it was fear of what others would think, right? That I'm leaving this career that I spent more than a decade of education and was still paying interest on that education and more than a decade in that actual career to go into the unknown entrepreneurial world of online selling, franchising, e-commerce, the unknown after getting that doctorate. I really had to do a lot of self-reflection and realize that the only way I was going to live out my best life was to not continue living in a life for fear of what others would think if I walked away. I was ultimately living for everyone else versus myself. And I had to kind of check my ego at the door of like the titles and the degrees and say, do I want to spend the next 40 years in this career that I'm kind of miserable in just like to save face from a degree I spent so much time on, right? Or do I raise my hand to my entire network and say, I was wrong. I know I spent 12 years and $100,000 plus in education on this, but I'm going to take a hard right and I'm going to go do something completely different. And that's where my journey started about 5 years ago. About 3 years ago, I actually fired my boss, walked away from corporate America officially, And that was the moment when I actually came out relentlessly on LinkedIn as a professional who was owning this industry in e-commerce and online selling. That's where my business kind of took off and where I'm headed, and just really passionate about pursuing that and teaching other people how to be professional online business savvy folks on that platform.
Well, it's so interesting, and we're talking about the industry of network marketing, and, we're really blessed to have mentorship from people that have changed the game of it. The industry really has come of age, and for people like yourself, professionals, to see value in it. I know you started as a customer, and then you have 3 little kids, and you were able to build this to that significant 6-figure business while having the 3 little ones and a husband that traveled all the time and working, yes. Right? And so yeah. I know it's why we love the industry, but it's leveling up, and it's leveling up and attracting a lot of professionals. And so obviously at this time right now that we're in, we are still in the pandemic at the time of this recording. And so more and more people are looking for ways to build online businesses, to step into entrepreneurship. And there is no doubt in my mind that the best incubator to learn how to be a business owner, an entrepreneur, personal growth is within this world of network marketing. But
yes,
I think what stops a lot of people, is they feel they've got to be having an Instagram account and doing the stories and doing the Facebook lives. Now, I've grown to love that stuff, but I also have a love-hate with it. Yeah. And it doesn't necessarily bring about the teammates or the team members that are necessarily who I'm looking to align with. So is that why you decided to go to LinkedIn, or that's just where your network was?
Yeah. So great point on a couple things there. And I agree with you. And I did start and build my business initially recruiting more for product. And I followed the route that my upline and leaders had taught me. And I went in and I created a 6-figure business off of consumption of product. But I'll be honest and just frank with you, Carol, that I really got tired of like the chase. And I got tired of the bait and switch of bringing people in for product and then trying to convince them of a business. And it wasn't until I really leaned into LinkedIn 2 years ago, and through some incredible coaching on our team of leading with the financial model, that I realized that a really fun space to be in network marketing, if you're comfortable and confident leading with the financial opportunity, is actually LinkedIn, not Instagram and Facebook, because people on LinkedIn are actively seeking and looking for opportunities. That's where I kind of made the shift 2 years ago. I'll tell you, conversations and the recruitment and the people I've been bringing in are all very business-minded people who are in it to win it. And so the conversation, the way I recruit and the way I build my business has changed dramatically, because now I'm recruiting for the business. So yeah, I guess you could say that's where the shift happened, and I haven't looked back. In 2 years, I would say about 98% of the people I've manifested into my organization have come from LinkedIn. The other 2% are just random new neighbors from the new neighborhood that I've moved into. But there's no belly to belly for me anymore. There's no in-home parties. There's no chasing my friends and family down to get into something. I am looking for professionals who are looking for an income producing asset. They're looking for an opportunity to build a legacy. They're looking for a plan B. They're looking for something they can fit into the pockets of their time, and they're open. It's not some spammy DMing to people on Instagram or Facebook who didn't express any interest in anything you had to offer in the first place.
Right.
That's my 2 cents.
No, well, I love it. And I'll tell you, I have made the LinkedIn account, as many people have, and I've adapted and updated it sometimes. But my thoughts, and if you're listening, you might have the same thoughts as me. I don't see myself as a, quote, professional, because I never really had a corporate profession. I didn't have a job that was professional, air quotes. And so then I thought, well, there's no space for Carol on LinkedIn because she's not a professional. And so how do we navigate, I'm not alone in that, right? Some people don't, like, how do people navigate that?
So you are a professional, no matter what your background is, if you have a business opportunity to offer people. And oh my gosh, your success is so powerful. It's so powerful that it doesn't, the LinkedIn platform 10 years ago is where people brushed off their resumes and they went there to look for a job. If you get into LinkedIn now and you really start playing with it, you will see that some of the biggest entrepreneurs are in there playing. And Gary Vee, remember Gary? Do you know Gary Vee? Yeah. Right? He's a big player in there. And I've actually recruited people from just being in the chat comment section of his post. There is a massive following of entrepreneurs that are in there that are highly active. And that's one of the things I really coach and train to is finding your heavy influencers and avatars within your arena. And then we begin recruiting within there and building your network. And so I guess I'll go back and just say some of the main delineations between LinkedIn and Instagram and Facebook has nothing to do with whether you are professional or not, because, well, first of all, you're incredibly professional. But it has everything to do with what the platforms are used for. So I'd love to just kind of walk you through this concept for just a minute and for your audience, because I really want you guys to kind of flip the coin on its side and think about things from a different angle. So Instagram and Facebook, I want you to think about why people go there. In general, Facebook, people really go to Facebook to connect with friends and family and to be entertained, right? And on Instagram, same thing, but also I would say people are pretty accustomed to being sold to in there too. A lot of product sales, a lot of MLM, network marketing, spammy, there's a lot, and there's just general sales going on in there. But in general, on those two platforms, people are there to be entertained, catch up with friends and family. They're kind of numb to being sold and spammed. But I also want you to think about the audience. Yes, I'll go ahead and just put the elephant out there in the room. There are way more people who use Instagram and Facebook than will ever use LinkedIn. So yes, there's more numbers. But what I want you to think about is the spread. So on Instagram and Facebook, you've got children literally down to the age of 5 from Ryan's Toys Reviews that has a page, to my great grandmother who keeps up with everything that's going on, right? And so they're obviously not the age group that you're going to manifest into your business, whether you're in network marketing or client sales or coaching. These are not the people you're looking for. So the age group range is huge. The purchasing power, the average income on Instagram and Facebook is about $21,000. The average age is about 23. Okay. So I want you guys to think about that for a second. Now I want to flip the switch over to LinkedIn. I want you to think about this. The average age on LinkedIn is about 35. That's the average age. The utility and purpose of LinkedIn it's networking for opportunities. It's for career opportunities. I want to say that one more time. It's for career opportunities. People who are in there and they're active, guess what? They're open. I want your listeners to think about, when's the last time you actually went into LinkedIn and brushed it off? It's when you are thinking about needing to make a shift in your career. It's when you are thinking about looking over the fence and seeing what else there is. It's when you are concerned about whether your job is going to be here tomorrow, right? So if you have a high-end coaching opportunity, I've got a lot of people who are in career pivot, coaches and stuff like that. LinkedIn is the place to be. If you're in network marketing or you're in social selling and you have an income producing asset and a financial opportunity, LinkedIn is the place to be. The people there who are active are motivated. They have purchasing power. And when you DM them about an opportunity, they're not put off because you just got into their Instagram or Facebook feed where they're trying to communicate with their family. They're actually in the mindset and actively working in a platform where they're looking for an opportunity. Does that make sense?
One thing that really hit was when you talked about them being numb to selling and numb to the chatter and the noise on Instagram and Facebook. Right? That really hits home because there's so many people, whether they're building coaching businesses or online health and wellness businesses, training businesses, or network marketing or MLM, that it's just a constant struggle to see, what do I got to do now for the algorithm so that people can see it? And it's it's exhausting. And when the people on the other end are numb to it, then all of your effort and time is going to waste.
Yes. Okay. So you hit on something I really want to talk about, because I forgot to bring this up, and it's really critical. And you were so dead on. You were dead on with it being, if those of you who've read The Blue Ocean, like Instagram and Facebook that's the red ocean. It is so hard to differentiate yourself. And what you hit on were the algorithms. The algorithms are really wonky. They change all the time. Maybe 1 or 2% of your network sees what you post. I just got off of some coaching with some of folks who are in my LinkedIn Pro course, and they were so excited about the number of organic views that they're getting on LinkedIn, because it's not adulterated. I use the word adulterated. I don't know what the right word is, but the algorithms aren't funky. The organic reach and the organic views. Some of my new students who are like, I've got an attorney who's a Monet network marketer, and she has 150 people in her network right now. 150. And she had over 800 views on a post that she made today. And she's freaking out. And it's because when you connect with people on LinkedIn and you get comments and likes, think back to Facebook 10 years ago. Just think about, and so the visibility is game on in there because nobody's doing it. It is a blue ocean. And secondly, like you said, I want to highlight this. The average use of Instagram and Facebook is with the phone. So the data shows that people are on the phone, on the go. Over 50% of activity on LinkedIn is from a work computer. So if you can be unique and you can get in there and you can inspire people, and they're sitting in their 9 to 5, okay, they're at home right now on a work computer, but they're bored out of their minds, and you can be unique and brand and market yourself as something exciting and exhilarating and liberating to be doing a thing on your own for yourself. Carol, it is for you, it is a massive blue ocean, just your story. Yes. Just your day-to-day, like if you chronicled your day-to-day life as an entrepreneur who's a millionaire with this company, like people would flock to you. You are a professional. You are running an online business and franchise that's hugely successful on your own terms. What professional sitting at their computer that's miserable doesn't want that? But they don't know you're open for business right now.
Oh my goodness. It's so interesting, because when you said that, like I have 5,000 maxed out Facebook friends. I have a Facebook group or a page, business page that has 7,000 people. I have 20,000 people on my Instagram. And when I do lives, it's like 100 people now. It used to be 2,000. And to your point, a decade ago, I built a 6-figure online fitness business when people would see my stuff and cared.
Right. Yeah. Well, so Gary Vee I listened to a podcast about a month ago, and he said that LinkedIn is Facebook 10 years ago. It's exactly what it is right now.
I actually love how you just said, not that every time I talk to you, you don't shift me to thinking, but sometimes we got to hear things 100 times. That's the way the world works. But when you said that people are sitting there looking for something exhilarating and inspiring and exciting, it completely changed my reference from I'm not a professional that needs to show up as a professional. And that if I get to show up in all my crazy wackadoodle, it's actually going to be better for me.
Carol, do you know where I get the biggest enrollments are when I do lives at like our fun, like corporate events. Like when I went to Top Achievers 2 years ago with our company, I was doing live videos of like people in grass skirts and how much fun we were having. And like, so when you go in there with the excitement and energy and the lack of a care in the world, what others think, and just living your career, your business out loud and giving people permission to dream again, right? The feedback I get from the people I recruit is like the number one thing that I've gotten from them is that you just seem so happy. You seem like you're having so much fun. You seem like you found a group, a tribe of people. And I don't even know what you're doing. I just want to be a part of it. So you don't need to be buttoned up. Yeah. If you were, you would be boring in their feed and they wouldn't want to learn more. Right? But when you are just like your wild, loud self with your headphones on and a tank top and just drop a nugget bomb after nugget bomb of, you're so full of inspiration. And that's what people are looking for right now is hope. I mean, think about it. 26 million people are unemployed right now. Yeah. Do you think those 26 million, out of those 26 million, the ones that are really motivated to make a change, own accountability for what they're going to show up for in life, do you think they're scrolling through Instagram and Facebook right now? Or do you think they're actively looking on LinkedIn for the next opportunity? And if you can be a light of hope and inspiration and captive energy and attract them towards you, it's all you have to do is get them on the phone and you've closed them,
All right. Chances are, if you're listening to my podcast today, you are a social seller of some aspect. You're in business, you're online somehow. Do you want to find more business builders in less time to 10x your business without playing the daily Instagram and Facebook game? Are you tired of being on the hunt daily for new customers of your product to then try to bait and switch them? You know what I'm talking about. To be interested in building a business with you, I have been there. The biggest mistake I see that slows down the expansion and stability of a social seller's business is that they spend way too much time recruiting on media for consumption of their company's products and way too little time in direct conversations with like-minded professionals that would love to actually hear about the business opportunity at hand. I then see so many painstakingly trying to drag customers through the sand to catch the vision of a business model that the consumer has no interest in, wasting time and getting burnt out. Can you relate? If you know my story, you know I've been there and since cracked the code and now drive a highly profitable social selling business 100% off of LinkedIn. Imagine finding with ease customers highly motivated for what services you have to offer to grow them, their business, or to become a business partner with you. That's what you will hear from my students who've gone through my previous LinkedIn method trainings. You don't have to look far. I am so excited for the birth of my brand new academy that has been built out based off of the success and the feedback of my previous students who graduated from my programs. So introducing to you the LinkedIn Method Academy. In this 6-month academy, you will learn to become a business recruiting master on LinkedIn to 10x your business, transform how you brand yourself as the business owner that you are, and master attraction marketing that results in prospects begging to get into your calendar to learn more about what you have to offer. The LinkedIn Method Academy is a first of its kind. It's an ick-free social sellers recruiting method dream. We take away all the spammy tactics that you've been taught on Insta and Facebook, and I teach you how to position yourself as the professional business owner that you are. I teach you how to professionally build your business brand, create an ideal network and pipeline generation that creates massive momentum, and a funnel of weekly calls with viable, motivated humans who are eager to learn more about what you have to offer. It's high-touch coaching, on-demand learning vault that's uniquely customized to meet you exactly where you are on your LinkedIn journey. And we have a dynamic Facebook community with ongoing live training, performance labs and workshops, and hot seat coaching to support your 6-month journey to owning LinkedIn. You also get assigned a personal concierge who will stay with you through the entire program to support you and hold you accountable. Did I mention that there'll also be polished, top-selling social sellers who went before you and are now mentors to share best practices and give feedback in the academy? Guys, this is unprecedented and peerless. There's nothing else out there like this. Think immersion in a community that is the utmost professional and results-driven that will help raise your own bar of performance along the way. Do I have your curiosity? Come check out our free 5-day LinkedIn Method workshop streaming live on our Facebook page, Burnt Out to All Out. Starting October 19th, we'll be kicking off a 5-day workshop completely free with tips and tricks. Now, if you're just eager to get started and enroll today, you don't want to wait, go to our academy. Go to www.livethefreelife.co. www.livethefreelife.co. Enroll by October 25th and save 20% as an early bird. Now there's limited seats. I'm doing that on purpose. I want to keep it high vibe and high touch. All right. So what are you doing in these final months of 2020 to create your trajectory for 2021?
If you're looking to 10x your lead generation for business in 2021 through a step-by-step process of proven methods, condensing time and driving results, you found the right home. I hope to see you in the Academy.
That brings up a great point, and I love that, and you're so right, and I'm like, okay, game on. But people listening might be like, okay, well, she's made $1 million. Now she can speak fine. Okay. Right? But I'm new. How do I start on LinkedIn? So how are you advising? Obviously you're recruiting on LinkedIn. So people, it's easier. Well, not easier, but then there's still the fear, the doubt, the uncertainty. How are you advising people to kind of take the steps into what can people do today to start playing in there, regardless if they've made $1 in their company or anything?
Yeah. So I think the first thing you have to do on LinkedIn, this is like $1 million piece of advice for everybody, is when you come into LinkedIn and you're approaching it from the perspective that you want to recruit and find like-minded business professionals, you have to take a step back and you have to recognize that you are recruiting in there. You are attracting. You are looking to attract. The number one mistake I see with my students who come through my boot camp is that they've treated it like the LinkedIn it was designed to be 10 years ago. And they're treating it like the LinkedIn that you're looking for a job. Okay. So what I mean by that is the people who are not successful recruiting in there are giving a list of their accomplishments, even in their lead headline saying they're keynote speakers, authors, podcasters. You read in their headlines and in their about section, and it's all about them, right? I want you to flip that on its head and think of yourself as a recruiter, not someone who's looking for a job, but rather posturing that you have something to offer. How can you attract them towards you? So in your headline, what is your value proposition? Right? Keynote speaker or author or podcaster tells me nothing about what you can do for me if I'm looking for an opportunity. Residual income expert, corporate dropout, those types of things. Actually, I can't remember what you had in your title. We can talk about that in a minute if we have time, but yours is phenomenal, by the way. But your headline and your description needs to be about what you can offer others, right? And it's what in the first 3 seconds of them clicking on their profile is going to make them want to learn more about you because of the WIFM. What's in it for me? What is your value proposition? So no matter whether you have success today, tomorrow, or in a year, it's the value proposition of what you have to offer, what you can do to help change people's financial trajectory, their pivot and their career, their plan B. I'll tell you right now, with the number of Americans without jobs, even just sorting on LinkedIn with a keyword search, furlough, or looking for opportunities. If you are looking to partner with people right now on LinkedIn, that's another $1 million nugget right there. Just type in looking for opportunities, do a search, and begin creating relationships with people. And this is where, and my students are so surprised, oh my gosh, we get to just get straight to business with these people. I'm so used to the dance on Instagram and Facebook, and I have to back into it. On LinkedIn, I can look for a keyword and DM someone directly and say, hey, I saw that you're looking for an opportunity and you have a background in XYZ. Not sure if it's for you, but and people look into it. They're open to it. You know why? Because if they're active in there, they're looking for an opportunity. You don't have to have arrived to be successful in that platform.
I didn't even know you could search. I thought the only way you could do it was this is the person and you're three away from Melissa. So how do you have that relate? And that's why I'm like, that so doesn't work with my brain. Doesn't work with my crazy brain. But searching a hashtag for people that are looking for, or interested in the same things like personal development and that kind of thing, right?
Oh, for sure. And that's the other thing I would challenge you guys to do is to think, I think that drilling down and getting kind of close to that avatar, that person that you're trying to attract, that you have a lot in common with, will help. And so we all have different backgrounds, but for me, I have found my niche with pharmacist because I have a doctorate in pharmacy. So I have found a niche with really searching and finding key influencers in pharmacy who are like coaches for career shifts and changes for pharmacists. And I've had a lot of fun building my network within that, because obviously I have a value proposition and can show pharmacists a plan B.
Yep.
The attorney in my boot camp right now is searching she's totally attracting burnout attorneys, mama attorneys. She's got a financial opportunity with her network marketing company. You know, I've got teachers who are burnt out, and they go in there and they're drilling down to the teachers, fitness professionals, like you name it. But that's a great place to start and just kind of drill down. And also right now, just with the economy where it is, a really great first point of connection is, you know, how are things going for you and your profession in the current environment, you know?
I mean, what the thing to remember for those of you that are in network marketing or direct selling is that it's important to never be the weirdo. Like network marketing basics 101 is be a human. You can't go to LinkedIn and not show up in it as a different light in the industry that people have some perceived notions of. And probably in LinkedIn, maybe you have to elevate that even a little more as a professional network marketer, right?
Well, I will say, and this is where I think you're going to really thrive, is that people, I want to challenge the status quo. And I think this is why I've been so successful in there. People are so used to being so buttoned up in there that when you aren't, you're a fresh breath of air, but you also give them the freedom and permission to not be so buttoned up either, right? And so here's an example. And I'm not saying I'm like, don't have some level of polish in there, but I also know who I'm trying to attract. So I actually did a live. You can do lives on LinkedIn. I did a live in there with my son, and he does the dab in the middle of my live. I recruited 2 women pharmacists who were miserable working 12-hour shifts in the hospital from that post. They DM'd me directly. You know why? Because they are my avatar. They're working crazy hours. They don't see their kids. They see me having fun with my blue hair in my house with my son, and I don't give a care in the world what LinkedIn thinks. Here's my message. And I'm not worried about some stuffy 65-year-old corporate VP and what he thinks about my post, because he's not who I'm trying to manifest into my organization anyway. So we actually give the people the freedom to dream again by coming in there and being ourselves and taking that mask off.
So powerful. I that really was gold when you talked about putting in, because I'm sure, and I know you're going to look at mine reads more like a resume. Like, here's all the things I am. So hire me, which is not what I want.
But you're hiring, right?
Right. So to switch that makes so much sense, which is opposite than what you necessarily do on your other social media platforms. You know.
Oh, for sure. It's all about posturing, Carol. And my students are really surprised. Like, I have created a funnel so that like my network books themselves in my calendar, and they have to fill out an application before we can even talk. So that just ups the ante and like how you're posturing and presenting yourself and how you value your time. And you pre-qualify people. So I actually will look at the survey before I get on the phone with them to really qualify whether it's worth my, and wouldn't that be awesome? Like you can't do that on Instagram or Facebook.
Well, I am totally exhausted of how many messages I have on Instagram and no way to filter them and flag them, even when I do that. And I have a lot of conversations, and we know that I guarantee there's amazing people that I haven't followed up with because I don't have any way to classify them.
So talking about that with Instagram or Facebook, I would love to like give you 2 cents on how you can streamline that on your LinkedIn profile and have people pop up in your calendar.
Yes.
Can I tell you about that?
Please.
Do we have a minute to do that?
Please do.
So you guys, just so you know, I've got Carol's LinkedIn page up right now. And by the way, your headline, I don't even have to give you feedback here. You're actually, your first couple of words, I help dreamers become doers. The only thing I would say there is help is not as strong of a word as lead. Like you want a powerful word instead of help. And you say by harnessing their existing talents to build out additional streams of income. The other like $1 million nugget I'll give you here is the first like 4 to 5 words of your headline or what's going to show up everywhere when you are interacting and commenting and finding your influencers, like where I grab a lot of people from a Gary Vee, a comment board. And if people can't quickly within 5 or 6 words, because that's all they're going to see in your headline, if they can't identify with what your value proposition is and create curiosity, they're never going to click on your profile to go see what you have more to say.
Okay.
So, but you have the help dreamers become doers. But so here's the thing, like, here's my thing with LinkedIn. What I love is that you have your podcast in there. So people can go feel like they can start to get to create the know, like, and trust with you. One simple first step for you, since you have a podcast, to start creating some know, like, and trust is just, this would be no work on you. Like, do a release once a week of like starting with day 1 of your podcast with maybe just like a tiny, like you can even capture the summary from your podcast and put it in the description and drop it in there, right? That would be no work for you. But what I see here is no one has any way of knowing how to contact you or go to a web page or book any time with you on LinkedIn. And a lot of people don't realize in that featured section where you have your podcast there, I have, and you can do this, you can actually embed your website if you have one, so people can go investigate you. B, a Calendly link for a discovery call. So when you start getting really active and creating value on LinkedIn, people are going to come stalk you and want to learn more about you. And right now, they don't know where to go to contact you, right? And so what I've done is I've embedded a Calendly link. And in my Calendly link, this is like 2.0. This might blow your mind a little bit. But in my Calendly link, I have a YouTube video embedded about the opportunity that you must watch and like 5 survey questions to fill out about what's piqued your curiosity about entrepreneurship. So if you want to get on my calendar, you're primed because you've watched the video and you're interested. And B, you've filled out some questions that are going to help me qualify your time. So that just ups the level on professionalism on LinkedIn, and it makes you a business owner. If we're posturing ourselves as offering an income producing asset and a legacy for life, then let's treat it like the income opportunity that it is and posture ourselves like the business owners that we are on LinkedIn versus spamming people who don't want to hear about what we have to say or do on Instagram or Facebook. You know, so that's my 2 cents.
Oh my gosh, it's so powerful. And you know, it's interesting. I'm like, I don't even remember when I wrote I help dreamers become doers. I'm like, that is a good line. I get hit with these great lines and then I forget about them. So that is something super, super valuable. Question for people that are doing, you know, that are still in their career.
Yeah.
Right. Which is a lot of people, and obviously probably a lot of people that have partnered with you. They're still in their career and they're transitioning out. What advice do you have for people, you know, to build on LinkedIn if they can't be all open about everything they're doing?
So that's a great question. I get a lot. I've gotten that from my students this month already. So part of it is, it depends on, well, 2 things. If you're there are some scenarios with some companies, you would like lose your job if they saw you recruiting on LinkedIn. I get that. And I feel sorry for them. It was really the financial services specifically. But however, when I first started leveraging LinkedIn, I was still working full time. And I unleashed the power of LinkedIn through the DMs, right? So you can still search, you can still sort, you can still create, you can curate, you can create a pipeline of a network that it's aligned to what you're recruiting for, and then get really savvy with directly messaging and following up with people and sifting through to find and create interest. Now, having said that, what I have found is the majority of my students are of all walks of life, all walks of profession, and they've gotten really comfortable with towing the line and positioning themselves on LinkedIn as having a mainstream job and a plan B. And I will tell you that actually creates even more credibility, you know, that like you have this 9 to 5, yet it's still possible to pursue a passion in the pockets of your time and create a plan B. more than ever is it aligned. And so I have found some of my students have gotten more and more comfortable with actually owning them both on that platform. And it can help them actually hone in on their specific avatar. Let's say they're in nursing. Well, they may want to really recruit. I've got a lot of nurses who are in health and wellness, and they've done a really great job of branding themselves for both and recruiting other nurses into their organization that way.
Well, and that kind of goes into where both you and I are right now in terms of having our strong network marketing business and being like a main source that we build to, but also other passion projects. So as I step into another level of coaching, it's not, they can work with me in other ways, not just in network marketing. So I guess in the conversation, you would decide which way that's going to go.
For sure. And I know you and I have been back and forth on this numerous times. And I think that part of it is if you're in network marketing, one of the things, no matter what company you're with, I'm sure you're talking multiple streams of income. Mm-hmm. The average millionaire has 7, right? So I actually think it only strengthens the message if you're not just a network marketer in there. I think that you being positioned as a 7-figure income earner in network marketing and a high-level professional coach actually opens the door of opportunity even more. And when I'm in conversations right now with professionals, I'm finding it actually easier to recruit them in because I'm saying, look, I run a coaching business and I run a network marketing business. I'm doing both and they're both successful. To them, they're thinking, okay, so she's still doing both and she's successful. I can too. I almost found that when I was solely pursuing my network marketing, I'd left corporate America and I was doing this as a 6-figure income earner. It was almost like it could be a cop out from the people you're trying to recruit that they're like, well, that's all you do. Mm-hmm. You know,
100%. And people feel that they need to decide to quit their job to do network marketing full time to get there, which rather than just putting it at the side. That's right. Yeah, that's amazing. Oh my gosh. So much goodness. So I know people are going to be like losing their ish. Can you swear on LinkedIn? You can just be you.
Yes.
All right.
I swear like once a week, right? I do. And I'm telling you, people, and my hair's blue now, right? And I have attracted so many people in because because they wish they could be themselves. And I can. You know, I'm not like dropping bad words all the time.
Like me, I do. Like me. I've toned it down a bit though. So at least I can be myself. That gives me hope. I'm proud of you for swearing, by the way. It's free.
Well, you know what? The more, and you know this, but the more your authentic self shows up, the more you manifest the right people into your organization. When I first started, I will tell you, it's been a journey. When I first started recruiting on LinkedIn, I was a little buttoned up and I was recruiting all these corporate professionals and some of them were super stuffy and not my type, right? And now I'm like, no apologies. This is exactly who I am. Like, come join me or, you know, go do something else.
Yeah.
Like I don't have space for anything else.
Well, you know, you just allowed me to see myself in that space. So thank you.
Yes. Oh my gosh, you're going to crush it in there. It's like a whole new ball game for you. You're not going to be able to sleep. It's so much fun.
Oh my gosh. Like I need another reason to not sleep. I'm so excited about, but that makes me. So how can people find you and follow you? And I know you've got some courses that you work with people. Give everyone the lowdown and I'll put all that in the show notes as well.
Yeah. So, I mean, you can come find me on LinkedIn, Melissa Henault. You can find me on Instagram or Facebook. I will tell you right now, I am not an Instagram person at all. It's my presence over there is horrible and I don't care. I'm fine.
I think you seem to be pretty wise about why. Yes.
Yeah. So the best place to come learn about me and like my journey and everything I have to offer is my website, livethefreelife.co. livethefreelife.co. I offer a basic LinkedIn boot camp. It's about a 5-week course. The next one is launching June 22nd. I offer them about every 6 to 8 weeks. And what I do is I coach you. It's a community. You come into a private Facebook community my students love it because they're in a think tank with other network marketers and social sellers who have high-end products that they're selling. So they get to see how other folks are positioning themselves. And it's a really warm community where people are willing to give feedback and support each other. So that's kind of like, that's where it all starts with LinkedIn. I have a pro course that's more like a mastermind for people who kind of graduated from that and really want to streamline what they're doing. But that's what I would recommend people to go check out. And I created a little coupon code for anybody who's watching or listening into your episodes. So if your folks just put in all caps, Carol, CAROL, right? They'll get, I think it's like $100 off the actual course.
Snapdragons. Love it.
Yeah. And I'm leaving it active for a while because I know that I know my course will be running, every 6 weeks, and people pick up your podcast, at any given point. So
thank you so much, babe. I appreciate your time. I'm so grateful for your knowledge and your style and just, your friendship too. And I love that this world of network marketing has brought us together and now elevates us to help people in all sorts of different ways. So thank you so much for your time today.
Oh, thank you. You've been a huge inspiration for me and really just made a huge difference in my professional life as a professional network marketer. And I just love and adore you. So thanks for having me on. I can't wait to have you on my new podcast coming up.
Yes. And then I'll have you back again to talk about that.
All right, Carol.
Okay, baby.
Thanks for listening to the Burnout to All Out podcast. For free resources, materials, or information on my coaching services, go ahead over to livethefreelife.co. That's livethefreelife.co. Or check out our Facebook community at Burnout to All Out, and make sure you follow Burnout to All Out on Spotify and subscribe to iTunes. And it would truly mean the world to me if you paused for just a second, gave me that 5-star review of the show, and be sure to share this episode with any burnouts you think would be inspired to go all out after hearing this episode.